M.
Welcome to the Pete De La Torre Business Program Entrepreneurial Hour, hosted by Pete De La Torre, President and CEO of the Renatus Group. The Pete De La Torre Business Program will discuss economic development and business opportunities for South Florida. The Pete De La Torre Business Program is sponsored by Community Newspapers, Great Florida Bank, Titan America, A1 International Realty, the law firm of Reyes Miller, PA, and Remote Books.
Good morning, South Florida. This is Pete De La Torre on a beautiful October 3rd, morning 2012, and I'm so happy to be here this morning. We have an incredible show. Both hours are going to be terrific, but I want to start by letting everyone know and really from the bottom of my heart, I have to thank all of you out there that have supported me and have encouraged me in this last year. What am I talking about? This week starts the second year of the Renatus Group, and not only that, the second year of this radio show. So this week is very, very important. I am absolutely humbled and honored to be here. This has been an amazing ride, the end of 2011 into 2012. So many things to say about this first year. But I have to tell you that for many of you out there that are still going through some tough times and are thinking about starting your own business, starting your own ventures, if you have that dream and that passion, absolutely go for it. Because there's never been a better time than now to pursue your dreams. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It has been challenging, but I know that I've challenged myself constantly in this first year by getting out of my comfort zone and doing things that in the past I never thought I would do. So it's just one of the things that we all have to do. We have to take some bold steps, and this last year has been a perfect example for me personally. And again, I thank you to my friends, my family, all of my clients, everyone that's been involved in this first year, and I cannot thank you enough for all your support. And today's a perfect example. We have good friends that are joining us here during this first show of the second year, the first show of the fourth quarter 2012. And my friends, this is a 2-minute warning here. Go out there, make it happen, push yourself. You can reach your goals, but now is the time to do it. So tune in, and you're going to pick up some pretty cool things today. If you have some comments and you want to, give us a call, and if you have any questions or have any feedback regarding the show, the number here is 305-541-2350. Again, 305-541-2350. Now, what do we do with the show? This show has 2 hours, the Entrepreneur Hour and then the Power Hour. During the Entrepreneur Hour, we focus on small business success stories and resources available for today's entrepreneur. Hour number 2, Power Hour, focuses on the economic engines of South Florida, featuring the large institutions, both private and public, with their initiatives, and of course, it always includes the movers and shakers of our community. Let me share with you who will be with us in hour number 1. We're going to start with a gentleman who I had the pleasure of meeting last week, though long distance, but a really fascinating guy. His name is Ed Sullivan, Chief Economist for Portland Cement Association. Now, he has a relationship with one of our sponsors, Titan America, and I want to thank my good friend Mike Zito for setting this up. Our second guest, or guests, plural, of course, is our weekly Great Florida Bank segment. We have here the Director of Marketing, La Doctora de Mercadeo, Barbara Mercel, who's here every week. We have Melanie Sanchez, Great Florida Bank Relationship Manager. And our real special guest here, not that you ladies are not special, is Marta Quintana with the Easter Seals. She's a Director of Leadership Giving. So we got great conversation coming up there. And my third guest will be the one and only Max Fleischer from Sandout Cards. Good old Max will join us towards the end of the first hour. And just to give you a sneak preview, hour number 2, Power Hour, the first guest, Irma Becerra Fernandez, Ph.D., Interim VP for Engagement, Office of Engagement, Florida International University. Then we have Enrique Ruiz, owner of E&L Insurance and the past president of the Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies, another great partner of the show. And we're going to wrap it up in the second hour to talk a little about the upcoming 2012 Miami-Dade Heart Walk this Saturday morning at FIU, we have one of the volunteers and passionate volunteers, Willie Hernandez, who is the CEO of Link Construction, who will talk a little bit about the hard work. So as you can tell, an amazing show set up here today. But let me start with the gentleman again that I just met last week over the phone. We've had some great conversations. And with us, long distance from the Chicago area, is Ed Sullivan again, Chief Economist for Portland Cement Association. Good morning, Ed.
Pete.
How are you, my friend? How's it going?
I'm doing fine. It's rainy up here in Chicago and starting to get a little cold.
What is your definition of cold? Because I forgot what that's about here in Miami.
Oh, you don't want to hear what Chicago cold is.
Well, I've been there a couple times in the winter, and I knew that I always, my trips were going to be short, and I was always headed back to Miami, but I absolutely love Chicago, and it's just it's everything that New York has, but I honestly myself, I think the people are a lot more friendly, and it's just a phenomenal city. So congratulations.
Great.
Well, we're going to talk about a lot of interesting things here today, but again, you have a tie-in to Titan America, who's been a great partner of the show, and they are a big company down here in terms of producing concrete and doing a lot of things in terms of advocacy for the industry. Share with us, if you don't mind, the three concepts that we want to really focus on during our conversation.
Yeah, Pete, the three concepts of this. The world has changed. It's no longer Europe, United States, and Japan. There's an emergence of a middle class in many of these lesser developed countries, India, China, and it's huge. And it's putting new pressures on commodity prices including oil. That has an impact on asphalt prices and therefore paving.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, whether we like it or not, our population is still growing at more than 1% a year, and that translates into nearly 70 million more people in the next 25 years.
Mm.
If you look at it, and this is the Bureau of Census, Florida will increase its population by almost 13 million between 2010 and 2035. Of that, you'll see about 10 million more drivers on the road in Florida. 50 million nationwide.
And I think 8 million are in South Florida. This is insane down here.
It very well could be. So you've got the world has changed. Commodity prices are rising. Secondly, you've got an increased demand on our road systems.
Mm-hmm.
Thirdly, you have states that will be continued to be pressured by costs. And those costs are now rising again because of demographic and population changes. We're getting older, and that means more and more people are going to rely upon state Medicaid, etc. Right now, Medicaid is the largest expenditure for state spending. It's roughly about 25%. That's expected to grow, according to the National Association of Budget Officers, to 35% in 25 years.
And as we know, Ed, Medicaid is a major issue in the presidential campaign this year. A lot of back and forth, and we'll hear a lot more in the next few weeks with all the debates coming up.
Mm-hmm. So what you've got is the cost dynamics have changed because the world has changed. Oil prices will continue to rise. The Energy Information Agency expects by 2035 the average price per barrel will be $200 per barrel.
Wow.
You've got the population that's going to continue to go. It's going to put pressure on our road systems. Congestion will increase.
Now, real quick, bringing that down to the level of where us as consumers see it at the pump, what does that translate in terms of a price per gallon? Let's say a $200 price for a barrel of oil.
Oh boy, it's a lot of it. You know what? I'd have to do the calculation.
But we got to be in the $7-8 range at least, right?
Oh sure, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Think about that. That's double. That would be about double where we're at right now.
A little more. Absolutely.
That's crazy. Well, overall, what do you believe the key issue is that we can expand on here today?
Okay, so if you take those three concepts, now look at what our road systems are looking like. If you look at the Florida DOT, they're faced with a lot more drivers on the road. They're faced with the need to expand the road system to cut down on congestion. Number two, they're also battling this rapid increase in maintenance costs.
Mm-hmm.
And the maintenance costs are tied to the rise in asphalt prices, which is partially linked to the change in the world dynamics.
Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, the rise in the asphalt prices is directly related to the oil prices going up, correct?
Correct. It's part of it. The asphalt prices are highly correlated to oil price increases. So again, if you take the EIA projections, you're going to get sustained increases in terms of asphalt prices. The second thing is that there's a dynamic that has occurred only recently, and that is oil refineries are now looking ways to increase their margins. And they can do so by adding a piece of equipment called a coker, which squeezes more of the light crude, high margin, out of a barrel of oil, leaving less of the sludge afterwards. And that sludge is what feeds asphalt, liquid asphalt. So what you're getting is not only a continued increase in demand, but you're also getting this reduction in supply, and you're getting these very large increases in asphalt prices.
Well, we know that if you know the comparison here is asphalt versus concrete.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty obvious to most, but maybe not all know this. But asphalt is isn't it less durable than concrete?
Absolutely. It's roughly half at best as durable. Okay. So again, if you're faced with rising asphalt and you've got to replace that road every 8 to 15 years, well, you're going to run into very large increases in your maintenance costs. If those maintenance costs keep going up, how are you going to expand your highways? You're not going to have money. The DOTs just won't have the money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, this whole issue in terms of a new world order with India and China pushing up oil prices, it translates into the average consumer and taxpayer in terms of what they pay for the roads and the road maintenance.
And this reality with the oil prices, it's we talked about this the other day, that this is going to be ongoing. This is the world we're living in today, where the pricing of oil is more vulnerable than ever before.
Absolutely.
It's probably going to get worse.
And the study I cite is the Energy Information Agency. That's our government. That used to be the old Department of Energy that's making these projections of $200 a barrel in 2035. Now, you keep in mind, if you look at a comparison between an asphalt and a concrete paved road, we estimate the break-even is at about $65 per barrel. Now, you go find an economist that says long-term, oil prices will remain at $65 a barrel. And I'll show you a guy who also thinks the Cubs are going to win the World Series next year.
Well, come on now, Ed. It'll happen. Keep the faith,
But the point is, Pete, is that it's so obvious that we already have a initial bid, and cost advantage over asphalt. And that if you look at it long term, because of the durability, the long term cost advantage is huge. It's something like $375,000 per standard 2-lane road. Mm-hmm. That's huge. You multiply that out, how many miles of road you got, and it can come out to a huge amount of savings in the long term.
Absolutely. Now, why don't the DOTs and Florida Department of Transportation rely more heavily on concrete roads?
Well, again, this is a structural change we're looking at, and I think they did the right thing for a long time. They did the right thing. They chose maybe the lower cost way of doing things when oil prices were hovering around $30 a barrel. Mm-hmm. So now we're looking at a completely new equation, a structural change in world growth that's leading these oil prices up. So they're slow to react. It's a new phenomenon, and they're slow to react. In addition, they have procurement policies that favor asphalt roads. So even if we go up and we can show them we are cheaper, the way the procurement process works is asphalt can still win. Mm-hmm. And let me give you some of the detail on that one. There's a a clause in the procurement process that guards against rapid increases in material costs, only asphalt costs. So that as they bid for the project, they could bid it at, say, $100, whatever, and if by the time they start paving, it's at 110, guess who's on the hook for that? It's the state.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that gives an advantage to asphalt, because I got news for you. Concrete prices have not even averaged increases equal to inflation. They're very stable. So, these escalator clauses are in part one of the reasons why DOTs are slow to change. And I think there's another issue too, Pete. If you're comfortable with paving a certain way, you're going to keep doing it. And I think that's also part of the thing. The market is extremely powerful. Eventually, these policies will be forced to change because it should be obvious now, but it'll become increasingly obvious when that disparity in oil prices continue to rise and concrete doesn't. Then the policymakers are going to be forced to change. And what our issue is change them now.
Well,
save some money.
That's exactly it. And as human beings, as people, it is very hard for us to get out of our comfort zone. If we've been accustomed to doing something for the longest period of time, as we know, change. No one likes change, even if it's for their betterment. And I think what's going to be needed here, without a doubt, and I know you agree with this, is a paradigm shift. And sometimes those shifts happen when we're cornered and we have no choice. And the thing is, why do we have to get to that point? Exactly.
Right on. That's exactly the issue. And we're doing the fight. We're trying to gradually change with a venue like yours, Pete. And thank you, to try to make the public understand, because it comes down to not cutting back necessarily on services, but making government spend more efficiently.
Efficiently is the key, and strategically. I want to share with the listening audience here that so they can realize that it works. We have two examples in our backyard here of roads that are paved in concrete. Okay, number one, have we all heard of I-95? Okay, this road is concrete and has been in place since the early 1960s. Secondly, Brickell Avenue. There's a lot of stuff happening in Brickell Avenue. There's a lot of buzz, a lot of building, commerce. Okay, this road was done with concrete in the 1950s and is only now being redone. Okay, this means that 60 plus years the city of Miami had a road in place that required little maintenance, meaning taxpayer money was not continually spent on the road. It's right in our backyard.
Absolutely.
And we don't realize this. I mean, it's I think, and the work that you guys are doing in Titan America is phenomenal. And not only that, but in our backyard, how many concrete plants do we have? One of them owned by Titan America.
Right. Well,
why not feed the local economy and grow that?
I think altogether, and I probably be corrected on this, but in the state of Florida, I believe there's 5 cement plants, which is an awful lot of cement plants, a lot of people being employed.
Absolutely, that's great.
And keep in mind too, concrete is all local. Mm-hmm. It's harvested in the United States.
Absolutely.
Oil doesn't all come from the U.S. It's right. A lot of that's imported. So, it does, I think, probably have a much larger multiplier in terms of job creation, etc., than perhaps asphalt does.
Absolutely. Ed, we have run out of time, and I knew this was going to happen just as we started going here. I mean, we can talk about this forever, but I do want to thank you for taking your time in your very, very busy schedule to come on here. This is fascinating information, and you want to look at a way to stimulate the local economy. I think this is a perfect example.
Pete, thank you, and congratulations on your anniversary.
Thank you, my friend. We'll get back to you on the show real soon, okay?
Great, thank you.
Take care. All right, we're going to go to a break, and then we'll bring on our weekly segment with Great Florida Bank.
We'll be right back with the Pete Delatorre Business Program Entrepreneurial Hour, sponsored by Community Newspapers, Great Florida Bank, Titan America, A1 International Realty, the law firm of Reyes Miller PA, and Remote Books.
Hi, I'm Pete Delatorre, host of the Renata's Business Hour show. Do you hate your bank? Don't care? Are you tired of never being able to contact your banker and getting charged a fee for almost everything you do? Always being in the back of the line? If so, you might want to listen to what I have to say about my bank, Great Florida Bank. Here I get personalized, concierge-style service. And now is a great time to sign up for Great Florida Bank's Merchant Services Mobile Credit Card Processing Solution. Their team will take a look at your processing needs, and if a mobile solution works for you, they'll give you a mobile card reader for free. If Great Florida Bank can't meet or beat your current processing rates, you'll receive $500. And I'm going to share one of Great Florida Bank's best-kept secrets. They never charge customers to use ATMs nationwide. Plus, if another bank charges you an ATM fee, they reimburse that ATM fee anywhere in the U.S. At Great Florida Bank, they take pride in offering personalized customer service and even give their customers their cell number. If you want a banking experience like mine, the Great Florida Bank Standard of Banking, call my personal banker, Obdulio Piedra, Great Florida Bank's Miami-Dade Market President. Call his cell, 305-514-6450, and tell Obdulio I sent you. Today, everyone wants to be environmentally responsible, but you can't recycle your way to sustainability. Real sustainability goes far beyond recycling and requires us to consider the three competing factors at work in our world: the economy, the environment, and society. By choosing concrete as your preferred building and paving material, you will achieve sustainable results in all three areas. Concrete's durability allows homes and structures built with concrete or concrete block to withstand Florida's severe weather and keep your family safe within your financial means. Concrete roads and parking lots are also very affordable, have much cooler surface temperatures, and last 3 to 5 times longer than asphalt, providing a much higher value for the money on public projects funded with your tax dollars. Lastly, concrete pavements allow shorter stopping distance in both wet and dry conditions and are reflective, providing safer conditions and better visibility at night for both pedestrians and motorists while using less energy at a lower overall cost. Choose concrete, the material for life. A message from Titan America, one of Florida's leading cement and concrete manufacturers. Visit them at TitanAmerica.com or call them at 954-481-2800. There's a lot of misinformation out there. I wouldn't be surprised to find that you've heard that a foreclosure is sometimes the best option for you. Nothing could be further from the truth. For the vast majority of homeowners out there who are in danger of losing their homes, a short sale represents a vastly superior option. The reality is that a foreclosure is a devastating option. As a real estate professional with the Certified Distressed Property Expert designation, Sandra Fernandez, broker-owner of A1 International Realty, has put together all the benefits of a short sale over a foreclosure in a free report that is available to anyone. For more information, visit her website, a1internationalrealty.net, or call Sandra at 305-385-6400. That's 305-385-6400 to schedule a free confidential consultation. Go and talk with her before it's too late. At A1 International Realty, they are making your home dreams come true.
Welcome back to the Pete Delatorre Business Program Entrepreneurial Hour. Sponsored by Community Newspapers, Great Florida Bank, Titan America, A1 International Realty, the law firm of Reyes Miller PA, and Remote Books.
Okay, welcome back, everybody, as we continue on with the Entrepreneur Hour here on the Pete Delatorre Business Program. And again, I want to thank Ed Sullivan, Portland Cement Association, for being with us. Again, fascinating information. And, it's a topic that It's not out in the limelight, asphalt versus concrete, but I think it's going to need a paradigm shift and it just some bold steps to seriously look at that, because that could be somewhat of a stimulus for the local economy if we were to take that road, no pun intended, to make things happen. So again, thank you so much, Ed, and of course, thank you to one of my partners, Titan America. Now we do a pivot here. We do our weekly Great Florida Bank segment, and of course, always here every single week is the one and only Barbara Marcel. Say hello quickly, Barbara.
We're pleased to be here again. Good morning. We have two great guests for us today.
You know something? I'm going to give you the pleasure of introducing them.
Really?
Yes, by all means. And we'll start with Marta, and then we'll have Melanie come in a little bit, but do the honors.
Okay. Well, this morning we have two great guests. Marta Quintana. Thank you for that. And you're the director of the Easter Seals.
Director of Leadership Giving.
Leadership Giving for Easter Seals, South Florida. And we also have Melanie Sanchez, relationship banker at our Doral Center Solution Center. Say hi, Melanie.
Hello, everyone.
So
they all freaked out when I said that they were going to really take over the time, and I was going to take a break and all that.
Singing, everything
like that. So let's go. Thank you, Barbara. That was excellent. Let's start with Marta. Tell us a little bit more about the types of services that Easter Seals provides to the community here in South Florida. And welcome to the show.
Thank you, Pete. And good morning, everyone. Easter Seals South Florida is a disability service organization. Our mission is to provide exceptional services so that children and adults living with autism, Alzheimer's, and other disabilities can live, learn, work, and play in our communities. And we do this throughout 10 centers in Miami-Dade and Broward. We have 3 adult daycare centers for seniors suffering with dementia and Alzheimer's. We serve over 450 seniors in that capacity. We offer in-home respite care for caregivers. We are serving currently 120 families in that capacity. We have a child development center for children 0 to 2 years old. We have an autism elementary school, and this fall we opened up our first middle school classroom. We have a culinary arts high school program for young adults ages 16 to 22 with various disabilities. Some have autism, Down syndrome, and such. And they are in the classroom. They're in the kitchen half of the day, and they're in the classroom the other half. And they actually prepare all the meals for all the students in the schools.
That is impressive.
Yes.
That is a lot that you do. And how long has Easter Seals South Florida been around?
It's been around for 70 years.
70
years. We've been serving people with disabilities for 70 years. We also offer vocational evaluations and and speech, physical, and occupational therapists on staff. So we do quite a bit. And we were awarded a contract by Miami-Dade County to manage 6 Head Start and Early Head Start programs. And in that capacity, we're serving 488 additional children. So that brings it, overall, we serve over 2,500 children and adults with disability in Miami-Dade and Broward annually.
Now, that is terrific, but I guess it also poses challenges.
Yes, it does.
What are some of those challenges in continuing that mission in South Florida?
Well, it's amazing, but even though we've been serving people with disabilities in South Florida for 70 years, I would say that the biggest challenge that Easter Seals faces locally is the lack of awareness in this community of what we do. I've had many people say we're the best kept secret in town, and I've been with Easter Seals now for 2 years, and that's been the goal is to raise funds, but also to raise awareness because, people give to people. And if they don't know what you do, it creates a challenge in fundraising. But I've partnered with many great companies. One of them being our new partner is Great Florida Bank, and they're amazing. They're a great corporate citizen. They really are. They do a lot in this community. And we have an amazing board. Amazing volunteers, and we have one of our volunteers here today. Melanie actually sits on our SEALS board, which is the Young Professional Service arm of Easter Seals.
That's pretty new, though,
yes,
isn't it?
that just we just launched that about 2 months
That's a
ago.
great
Tell me about, I don't know, Melanie,
Yeah,
if you want to
Melanie,
chime in a little bit
what is
regarding
that
the
about?
young professionals and what do you hope to accomplish?
How young do you have to be?
Under 40, but we don't card.
Barbara, you and I will be the chaperones.
Thanks a lot.
But Melanie, what got you inspired to do this?
Well, I was introduced to Martha Quintana by Irby Blanco True, our Director of Community Development.
Who's Irby? No, I'm kidding.
Irby's only been on the show about 10 times.
Yeah,
Irby's a volunteer as well. She's one of
got
our
the
table captains
That's
too.
great.
So I reached out to Martha, and we set up a tour of the facility
Mm-hmm.
in downtown. And after taking the tour, I found that it's a great organization to join because they really give back a lot to the community. And so the SEALs, basically what they are, we're a diverse group of compassionate young professionals dedicated to raising awareness of Easter Seals South Florida and the families they serve by giving of our time, talents, and resources.
That, I'm very impressed with a lot of different pockets of young professionals that are taking the bull by the horn, and this is a perfect example of that. And there are young professional groups and other organizations and chambers of commerce, and obviously you guys are going to rule the world if you're not doing it already. But this is a great initiative, and I think that this is what's going to fuel the future of Easter Seals here in South Florida. It's just the young professionals, the ones that are going to be here 15, 20, 25 years from now. They're the ones that are going to make sure that this continues and even grows there. And I understand now, Martha, that this position with Easter Seals for you is a bit of a second career. And as we were talking off camera, before we started here. We're going to have a camera here one day.
Okay.
As a former stay-at-home mom, what advice do you have for anyone who is unsure about going back to work or perhaps start that business that they've been talking about forever?
Well, I was in television for about 20 years.
I knew like that TV stuff came from somewhere. There it goes.
Before deciding to be a stay-at-home mom, which was the best decision ever. The biggest challenge for me was actually making that decision of stepping out into the workforce again. And I really didn't want to go back to television. And by then, 10 years had passed, so I was a dinosaur in that industry. I would have had to go back to school. But it was actually just making the decision of what I wanted for the next phase. And I wanted to find a new career path that I could be passionate about. And I was always passionate about community service, so it was only fitting that I go into nonprofit. My advice, try to find a career you're passionate about and hit the ground running full speed ahead. And it's very important, at least it was for me in my experience, to when you go back into the workforce, to really create a healthy work and home balance, because you can get lost.
That is the challenge we all have is to have that balance. We all remember the Karate Kid, the first movie, when
Yes.
Mr. Miyagi says, Danielson, balance. And that is so true.
Yes.
We need to have,
Balance.
at least strive for balance,
Yes.
because in this world we get sucked up by our work. I know I do, and I have to stop myself and try to have as much balance as possible. But you said something here is very important. Passion.
Yes.
We have a lot of listeners out there that are still, trying to see what they're going to do next. They're in transition. They've thought about doing a business. We get caught up in the comfort zone, which again, I don't really call it a comfort zone. It's not really comfort. I call it the familiar zone.
Right.
We may be miserable, but we know what our misery is like. It's getting into the unknown, which you did, and
Right.
many of you that are out there need to do and have the courage to move forward and starting a young professionals group in an organization like this. There are challenges, but if you have a passion for it, it'll become a reality. We've got a couple of minutes left here, and I wanted to turn over to Barbara. Where can those that are looking to make that leap that we're talking about and start a business, how can they find out more about Great Florida Bank services and how it might be able to suit them personally, and how maybe the bank can be a catalyst to help them start their business?
Well, we have so many different products and services that fit a business owner or someone just starting out, for a business, startups that would fit. We have, the merchant services side, business checking accounts that fit any kind of need that you may want. Plus, we have one of the best people sitting right next to me, Melanie. She could definitely, all you have to do is give Melanie Sanchez a call. She could help you, go through what kind of business you have and kind of fact finding about your business, so she could provide the right products and services for you. Plus, you'll find that we have it's such a boutique kind of community bank that we have, very concierge style service. It's like joining the Great Florida Bank family when you open an account with us, which I know Pete can attest to. I mean, Pete was in our offices yesterday meeting with us, and he walks through the hallways. Hey, Pete. Hey, this one. I think the whole bank knows Pete by now, but it's just very family friendly.
Well, your office has really become a home away from home.
I know.
It really has.
But I think listeners out there, if you would like to talk about your business coming over to Great Florida Bank, Melanie Sanchez in our Doral Solution Center would be able to help you. Melanie's going to give you her phone number. She'll repeat it a couple of times so that, if you want to give her a call and come by and see her, that would be great. So, Melanie, how can they get in touch with you?
They can call me at 305-514-6978. Once again, that number is 305-514-6978. And if you're shy, you can send me an email at mesanchez@greatfloridabank.com.
That's great. That's great.
That's terrific.
If you want to do a shout out about your Easter Seals 24th annual festival,
Yes.
before we go.
November 8th, we're having our 24th annual Festival of Chefs. Chef Michael Gilligan, formerly with the W Hotel and now with the new Rusty Pelican, has been really putting together this event for the last 11 years. He recruits all the other chefs. He recruits the wine vendors. It's an amazing event with a great silent auction, and all the proceeds from the event benefit Easter Seals High School Culinary Arts Program. So I invite you all to come out. I also
have an artist too.
Yes,
right?
we actually, and we have Mano. It's an artist who he recruits other artists in Miami, local artists, to give a silent auction pieces. We had some great pieces last year. We expect to have about 15 beautiful artworks, glasswork.
Excellent.
We're going to coordinate or help with Barbara's help to bring the chef on the show the day before, November 7th.
Yes, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
That's going to be terrific there. Ladies, thank you so much for coming out here. Barbara, again, as
Thank
always,
you.
mentally
Thank you.
great
It was a lot
job.
of
And, of
fun,
course,
as
Martha,
usual.
thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you, Pete.
Appreciate
Thank
it
you.
very much. This has been a lot of fun. We're going to go to another break, and then we're going to bring on Max Fleischer. Send out cards.
We'll be right back with the Pete Delatorre Business Program Entrepreneurial Hour. Sponsored by Community Newspapers, Great Florida Bank, Titan America, A1 International Realty, the law firm of Reyes Miller PA, and Remote Books.
Hi, I'm Yvette Reyes of the law firm of Reyes Miller, proud sponsors of the Pete Delatorre Business Program. We are a family and criminal law firm with offices in Miami and Boca Raton. For 7 years, I investigated and prosecuted criminal cases from DUIs to homicides. In 2001, I took my trial experience and applied it to family cases in private practice. I have been serving clients from Gainesville to the Florida Keys ever since with both their criminal and family law matters. At Reyes Miller, we combine our skills as trial lawyers and mediators to create a strategy that works uniquely for you and your specific needs. If you're planning on getting married or divorced, please call us before you take your next step. From prenuptial agreements to divorce, from arrest to restraining orders, and everything in between, we can answer your questions. Please call us for a free consultation. When it comes to legal matters, remember that the best advice is to seek advice. Please visit reyesmiller.com or call me, Yvette Reyes, at 305-663-6565, 305-663-6565.
Hi, this is David Hernandez, CPA. As a self-employed individual, leader of a nonprofit, or a business owner, no success can be achieved without proper organization and the creation of a profitable system. Our remote book system allows you to create a remote cloud office with access and collaboration from anywhere, with multiple monitors and the combination of your internal books, tax preparation books, and financial reports issued by a certified public accountant, CPA, into a single set of books with access 24/7. Remote Books, your opportunity to build a profitable system. Design a remote cloud office with access and collaboration from anywhere, and our accounting, consulting, and tax support to have a complete single set of books. Build your remote book system today by calling 305-707-8007. Calling us at 305-707-8007. Visit us at myremotebooks.com.
There's a lot of misinformation out there. I wouldn't be surprised to find that you've heard that a foreclosure is sometimes the best option for you. Nothing could be further from the truth. For the vast majority of homeowners out there who are in danger of losing their homes, a short sale represents a vastly superior option. The reality is that a foreclosure is a devastating option. As a real estate professional with the Certified Distressed Property Expert designation, Sandra Fernandez, broker-owner of A1 International Realty, has put together all the benefits of a short sale over a foreclosure in a free report that is available to anyone. For more information, visit her website, a1internationalrealty.net, or call Sandra at 305-385-6400. That's 305-385-6400 to schedule a free confidential consultation. Go and talk with her before it's too late. At A1 International Realty, they are making your home dreams come true.
Welcome back to the Pete De La Torre Business Program Entrepreneurial Hour. Sponsored by Community Newspapers, Great Florida Bank, Titan America, A1 International Realty, the law firm of Reyes Miller PA, and Remote Books.
Welcome back, everyone. We're going to wrap up now the first hour of the Pete De La Torre Business Program, of course, our Entrepreneur Hour. And I want to thank Marta Quintana from Easter Seals, Barbara Marcel and Melanie from Great Florida Bank. Great segment. And just a phenomenal organization, and they do such great work and helping the handicap in so many different ways, as you heard during their time there. Now, when we talk about entrepreneurship and chasing the American dream, my next guest is a perfect example of that. I met Max, my God, probably 7-8 years ago when I was just getting started my first few months at the Doral Business Council. He had a different look about him. He was doing something completely different. He was working for a printer. And Max was there for a while and then kind of disappeared and made a comeback about, 3-4 years ago, I think it was. And we sat down and we had a heart-to-heart. And I said, Max, if you're going to come back, then you got to have to roll up your sleeves and do certain things and follow up some basic fundamentals of networking and work in the organization. And I have to tell you, Max has been a role model when it comes to that. He went about it step by step, got involved in a brand new business that we're going to talk about here today. But I actually got to say I'm very proud of what Max has done and what he's doing, and has a fantastic service product that we'll talk about today. It's like taking it back to doing things the old-fashioned way. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to bring on to the show my friend Max Fleischer from Send Out Cards. What is happening, my friend? How are you?
Hello, Pete. Thank you for having me. And it's pretty emotional to be here with you, knowing everything I went through. And, when you met me, I was kind of much of a chaser. I always was an opportunity guy, starting businesses, going after people, after businesses. And through all the process with your trainings, your seminars, your conversations, I learned a lot about building relationships. Sometimes it's much more important than advertising or chasing the next opportunity out there, and more of building it from within. So I am always I am always grateful to you for that.
Well, I tell you what, thank you very much, but I'm also learning from you, and to be honest with you, and what you're doing, and I think a lot of our close friends that know Max, we know that he's like E.F. Hutton. When Max speaks, everybody listens because he doesn't waste his words. He's right to the point, and sometimes people don't necessarily like that, but they need to hear that. So he's got a style of his own, but it's very successful, and he's a very passionate guy, and it comes from the heart. So tell us about Send Out Cards and what got you involved with that, and what are the key features of what you do?
What got me in the company, it was, first, money and lifestyle. I needed to make some money, and this company offered me a product with a very unique advantage in the marketplace, very price competitive. It's very unique, so gave me the advantage to help me grow my business with them as a distributor. And one of the things I like from this company and the product that helps you in what's the most important aspect of us as salespeople or entrepreneurs. Customers, they buy when they are ready. They buy on their own time. We go after them, but if they are not ready to buy, other than follow up and stay in touch with them, there is not much we can do. So this company, Send Out Cards, really created a system that you can create drip campaigns and follow up with people, not only with phone calls and emails that we all do, but with actually paper greeting cards and gifts and showing appreciation, being nice, a thank you, a happy birthday. When you do that, your audience, your prospects, your customers really get from you that you really care about them, that you really like them, that you accept them as they are. They really see that you are trustworthy, reliable, constant. So when they are ready to buy, they come to you. Mm-hmm. So that strategy of marketing really, really got to me. And with Send Out Cards, I can help businesses implement it. Mm-hmm.
Now, you just mentioned in your description here a part of marketing that is critical, but unfortunately many forget, and it's called appreciation marketing.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that concept, because I just absolutely love it.
Well, the founder of our company, Cody Bateman, he says that appreciation wins out over self-promotion every single time. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, it's true. Even the biggest Fortune 500, biggest companies, they have messages of love. They have messages of happiness. They really, really build on identity, loyalty. And we as small businesses, we really need to focus on that. You can call somebody 100 times asking them to buy your product, but if they don't like you, if they don't have an attraction to you, if they don't feel that they trust you, they're going to give their business to somebody else. Mm-hmm. There are so many options today that the real single most effective advantage we can have as small businesses is create that bond, that loyalty, and that it's built through regular shows of appreciation, not doing it one time, saying thank you, shaking hands or something, but actually during the year, with our system, you can send a thank you card, a happy birthday card, a happy new year card on paper, actually from your computer. We do the printing and mailing for you, so we make it really easy. But really, really, appreciation marketing is nothing other than being humans, people doing businesses with people, and in the end, it's not even marketing, it's appreciation.
Well, in today's world, as we know, and you're utilizing technology. Yeah. Obviously, that's the world, that's what drives the world, the economy, and our lives. But I think what's really interesting about Send Out Cards is it's kind of like the best of both worlds. It's utilizing technology, how it is today, and what it is today, but by the same token, it's also including doing business the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
That who is receiving cards in the mail today? Yeah, maybe during the holidays you get your cards and things like that, but that's become a rarity. Okay, everything is done electronically, electronic cards that actually are emailed out. And which is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But today, when you receive that card, and I've received a handful from you at different occasions, you get it and you look at it, and first of all, there's a customized message, and not only that, but you'll put in a photo that was taken of me at an event or whatever, and says, glad to have met you or congratulations. People like seeing that.
Yeah, people really like it, and you make them feel good. So when you actually send one card from our service, I mean any service, but our service particularly, we really merge the new technology of the internet, the computers, the smartphones, because you can do it also from an app, from the iPhone or the Droid, any computer, any iPad. So from really the new technology, you can apply the old basic concept of sending a paper card. Electronic cards really were a big fashion 10 years ago or something.
They're a dime a dozen today.
Today, I believe people don't even open it. They are busy on their computer. They are working. They don't want to open a virus or anything. So the difference of having somebody go to their mail or getting their mail with bills and those things, all of a sudden they see...
That helps take away the pain of the bill.
Yeah.
In a couple minutes we have left here, if you don't mind quickly sharing a success story from one of your clients that you send out cards without giving specific names. Give me one.
I can give you so many. I'll give you one which is pretty amazing. This is a collection company. And
collection company. This is interesting.
Those guys are tough, man. They are tough collecting machines. They call you on the phone, threatening you if you don't pay this, that, and whatever. And sitting down with them, it's difficult for them to collect. I mean, it's a tough business. Mm-hmm. So they really went the appreciation route and started calling people instead of threatening them, making friends with them, asking them, for example, how did you get to this situation? How can we help? Maybe we can teach you about cash flow and things like that. And but the cherry on the cake on their new attitude and marketing strategy was the greeting card. They started sending people, let's say somebody $1,000, they send a $10 payment. They send a thank you card. We appreciate your effort. We see that you are doing all the right things. Birthday cards, happy anniversary cards.
Please send more money. I couldn't resist.
Well, I make the money when my customers make money.
But this is a great example. I mean, a collection agency of all companies. They have a bad rap, for obvious reasons. But for all of you that are listening today that have your own business and this needs to be considered. Again, appreciation marketing, saying thanks or acknowledging them. People do business with people at the end of the day. They don't do business with computers. And this is a perfect example. Max, what is the best way for the listeners to get a hold of you if they have any questions or if they want to order send-out cards? Okay. I love my business. I love to take your calls. My phone number is 305-490-1436. Again, it's 305-490-1436. Can I give my website? Absolutely.
My website is sendoutstandingcards.com. And we have a free sample, and I really love what I do, so I would like to help you get started with this service.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you,
really appreciate it, and you're welcome anytime you want to come back here. This is great stuff, and I like bringing out the traditional things that have worked for years. Well, my friends, that wraps up the first hour of the Pete Della Torre Business Program, the Entrepreneur Hour. I want to thank all my guests that have been with me here, starting with Ed Sullivan, and then the gang representing Great Florida Bank and Easter Seals, and of course Max. Do not touch that dial. We're getting ready now for that Power Hour, and we have some amazing guests lined up. We're going to start with Irma Becerra Fernandez, PhD from FIU, Enrique Ruiz representing the LAAIA, and we have then, of course, Willie Hernandez is going to talk about the Heart Walk. So don't touch that dial. Stay on the radio station here, and we'll see you after the station break for the Power Hour of the Pete Della Torre Business Program.
Thank you for listening to the Pete Della Torre Business Program Entrepreneurial Hour. Stay tuned for the next hour of the Pete De La Torre Business Program. Sponsored by Community Newspapers, Great Florida Bank, Titan America, A1 International Realty, the law firm of Reyes Miller PA, and Remote Books. Welcome to the Pete De La Torre Business Program Power Hour, hosted by Pete De La Torre, President and CEO of the Renatus Group. The Pete De La Torre Business Program will discuss economic development and business opportunities for South Florida. The Pete De La Torre Business Program is sponsored by Community Newspapers, Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies, and EuroSuites Hotel and Residences.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Pete De La Torre, and welcome back to the Pete De La Torre Business Program. This is the Power Hour, and we had a great start to the show today. And again, this is a first-year anniversary of my show, and I'm just thrilled with all the guests that have been part of it to this point. And we got a great lineup for Power Hour. Our first guest will be Irma Becerra Fernandez, Ph.D., Interim Vice President for Engagement of the Office of Engagement of Florida International University. And here live in studio will be joining us as our second guest is Enrique Ruiz, owner of E&L Insurance and a past president of the Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies. And our third guest will be Willie Hernandez, CEO of Link Construction, who will talk a little bit about the upcoming Heart Walk, 2012 Miami-Dade Heart Walk at FIU this Saturday morning, the 6th of October. So we have an exciting hour planned for you here, and we're going to start now. And she has a busy schedule. She's a busy individual, but we're very happy to have her on the show here today. And that's, of course, Professor Irma Becerra Fernandez, Ph.D. with FIU. Let me just give you a couple of interesting facts about her before we officially bring her on the show. She has accepted the position of Interim Vice President for the Office of Engagement as of May of this year. Her background is very, very impressive. Irma has co-chaired several task forces that focus on improving learning for FIU students. She led the search for the university's Vice President of Information Technology and CIO, and is chairing the search for the new Vice President for Student Affairs. She has also overseen the review of junior faculty working toward tenure. Also served as a director and fellow of the Eugenio Pino Global Entrepreneurship Center. And this is very impressive. A proud Panther, she graduated as the first ever female doctorate student in electrical engineering at FIU in 1994. She has been the recipient of several awards and has also helped raise a lot of money for the university through federal grants. And another thing about Irma, she is a published author. So I am very happy to have her on the show here. And without further ado, let me bring on the show Irma Becerra Fernandez. How are you, Irma?
And to all our radio audience, thank you so much for inviting me to be on your show today.
This is great. We ran into each other a few weeks ago at a Greater Miami Chamber function. I mean, we kind of knew each other from the past, and I know that she has so much to share with her current position. And how long have you been with FIU since, almost 20 years? Or a little bit under that?
Believe it or not, I think I am an old timer at FIU because we are part of a very young university. FIU is not even 50 years old yet. So as you may imagine, like you mentioned, I got my PhD in electrical engineering in 1994, and I joined the Faculty of Management Information Systems in 1998. So as I have been progressing through the ranks of assistant professor, tenure associate professor, full professor, director of the Pino Center, vice provost for academic affairs, and then most recently in May, when I was appointed to lead the Office of Engagement, as you may imagine, I have seen FIU really transform itself into a premier university, the university for the people, by the people of this community. So I'm delighted to be sharing with you some of the exciting things that we're offering now through the Office of Engagement.
Well, when you drive past the campus on Southwest 8th Street, 107th Avenue, you talk about growth. There is a crane out there, and building another new building for the last handful of years, and as we speak, more is going on, and it's absolutely exciting to see what's happening there.
Yeah, it sure is, and it's interesting because I think most of this community has some kind of a tie with FIU. Either you are an alum, or one of your peers, siblings is an alum, or maybe some of the people that you work with, or maybe your kids. So everybody is touched by FIU, and a lot of times people have not, if you were part of this community, of the FIU community, say 10, 20, 30, or 40 years ago, sometimes people haven't had the opportunity to see the transformation that this university has really gone through in such a short time. So, I mean, a lot of people don't know that we have 50,000 students right now that are faculty. We have top-rated faculty that attract over $100 million a year in federally funded research. And we have so many accomplishments. We have been appearing in many different ranking systems. So it's a very exciting time for FIU. Just this year, we hired almost 150 new faculty. And it's exciting because this university is growing at a time where many other universities have been actually contracting. So it is an exciting time for FIU. So happy to be part of this excitement.
I have a personal tie to FIU as well. I attended classes there in the late 1970s. I'm giving away my age, of course, I know. And not only that, but I sit on one of the boards, the International MBA Business Board. So going back three years ago. So it's phenomenal, and I can't congratulate everybody there enough there. Tell us a little bit about the Office of Engagement. What is your focus and then for you specifically, your area of responsibility?
Yes. Okay, so thank you, Pete. The Office of Engagement is really kind of a new office at FIU. We are only about 2 years old.
Correct.
And this office was started by our current president, Mark Rosenberg, who, by the way, joined FIU as an assistant professor and progressed through the ranks. So he has also been part of this phenomenal transformation that our university has gone through. And essentially, FIU's mission has two components. The first component talks to the fact that we are a student-centered organization. And the second, that we are both locally and globally engaged. So what does that mean? That means that as an urban serving institution, we view community engagement as a lens through which we see our scholarship. In other words, our research, our teaching, and our service, we celebrate when we put our scholarship in support of working with our communities to solve some of the difficult problems that our community may be facing. And when I talk about these difficult problems, for example, how do we go about improving low-performance schools? Oftentimes, these type of problems, which in the literature maybe have been described as wicked problems, they're very difficult to solve, and they require people from multiple perspectives to come together and view the problem from different lenses, different discipline lenses. And they also require, for them to be solved, they require the involvement of the community. So when we are looking at these problems, we are not like coming down and let me try to see how I can help you and do something for you. But we are working with the community. How can we work with you to help find solutions to these problems and actually implement them and observe the difference that these actual new approaches are having. So from that perspective, I can share with you that our Office of Engagement is built on 3 pillars. So this is kind of my elevator pitch because a lot of people are, because it's so new, then a lot of people in the community, they exactly want me to explain, so what does this mean? And basically we have 3 pillars. So all our activities, they're going to fall within these 3 pillars. The first pillar is that we're committed to help grow the talent of our students. And how do we do that? Well, one of the areas that we do is that we help faculty, we promote the idea of experiential learning, and that is where students gain experience through, say, internships that are aligned with their disciplines of study. So this is what we call the type of work that helps students cement their learning goals. And in addition, many faculty get involved with the students, and as part of the curriculum, they get involved in working with the community and working with many community-based organizations to help find solutions for some of the problems that they're facing. So maybe students work together with the community in designing and implementing a tutoring program for students in an underserved population, or they work together to help a community-based organization learn how to write grants more efficiently. And the students are part of that solution, working the faculty, the students, and the community-based organization together. So that's a very important thrust that we have launched, supporting faculty that want to, through their courses, have a service learning component, which is what I just described. So that's one of the pillars for our office. The second pillar is that we also are launching initiatives that help foster innovation. And one of those initiatives is, for example, the Life Sciences South Florida. That is a collaborative of 16 organizations in South Florida, which includes 3 public universities, FIU, FAU, Florida Gulf Coast, 2 private universities, which include University of Miami and Nova, 4 community colleges, Miami-Dade College, Broward College, Palm Beach Community College, and Indian River Community College, and 3 economic development councils, the Beacon Council, Broward, and Palm Beach Development Council, with 2 research organizations, in this case Max Planck and Scripps. And what we are doing is we're pulling our resources together to help grow a nascent life science industry sector, which encompasses about 100 companies in South Florida region. But most of these companies are small. They employ from about 3 to 20 employees. And we feel that we could help grow this sector by at least 2 orders of magnitude. And why is that important? Well, this is an innovative sector that has the potential of have a huge economic spillover effect into our communities, and also provide opportunities for jobs for our students that graduate with science and engineering degrees, as well as potential for collaboration with our faculty in those fields.
Well, a lot of what you're talking about is now the rebirth of One Community, One Goal.
Correct. And that is why also our president, President Rosenberg, is actually the academic leader of the Academic Leaders Council. And we are aligning a lot of our initiatives here at the university with the goals of One Community, One Goal, and the industry sectors that they have identified as those defining the most important industry sectors of our community. So that's absolutely correct. So the third pillar that I wanted to share with you, Pete, is this one where we work in projects that help develop the community. And again, why is FIU interested in doing this? Well, because there's a saying that a rising tide raises all ships. And as you know, FIUs continue to grow in the quality. Our admission standards are continuing to rise, which is typical with universities. As they get better, their admission standards keep rising. But, by our admission standards keep rising doesn't mean that we want to leave our community behind. So we have established a collaboration with Miami-Dade County Public School System, and it's a partnership that we have entitled Access, that it seeks to align our instructional, research, and creative talents in order for us to work with the county public school system to help improve our public schools, because 2/3 of our students come from the public schools in South Florida.
Correct.
We want to help them increase high school graduation rate, and then we want to help them improve the transition of the students into higher education, because our goal is to get them to the finish line. That is a college degree.
Absolutely, and that's phenomenal. You know something? We have just run out of time here today. This is amazing information here, and the first thing I want to tell you, Irma, is I want to get you back on the show.
Yes.
Because there's so much to talk about here,
Yes.
and I'm so proud of what FIU has done through the years and where they stand, and you're a major part of that. And I don't know, how long this interim thing is going to be with you, but time will tell. But I know that it sounds like you're doing an amazing job, and it's just a great initiative that Dr. Rosenberg introduced a couple years ago. This Office of Engagement. So congratulations for everything.
Yes. Thank you very much, Pete. I actually want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share what we're doing with our community. Mm-hmm. I also want to ask our listeners to go to our website, engagement.fiu.edu, to reach out to us. Our email is engage@fiu.edu. And we'd love to come back and tell you about some of the specifics of some of these initiatives. Mm-hmm. In particular, we're very proud of a project that we have at Miami Northwestern through a generous gift from the J.P. Morgan Foundation that is helping us create college-going culture at Miami Northwestern, and we have such amazing results that I definitely want to come back and share those with you.
We will do that, and thank you so much for being on the show again. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Pete.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon. All right, we're going to go to a break, and then we'll bring on Enrique Ruiz, representing the Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies.
We'll be right back with the Pete De La Torre Business Program Power Hour, sponsored by Community Newspapers, Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies, and EuroSuites Hotel and Residences.
Have you ever considered why so many Florida homeowners and business people look for an independent insurance agent for their insurance needs? We consumers appreciate real options with real choices that best fit our needs. We gravitate to those who understand our options and help make our decision a sound decision. So when we're making a decision that is really important to our family, our home, or business, people who value independence choose an independent agent from the Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies. The LAAIA is a 42-year-old nonprofit organization who strives for an insurance environment that is healthy for agents and fair for consumers by working on legislative, education, communication, and community support. They help the independent agent navigate the ever-changing waters of the insurance industry. For more information on the LAAIA, please call 305-477-1442. That's 305-477-1442. Or visit their website at www.laaia.com. In the heart of Miami, in the best location of the city, is EuroSuites Hotel and Residences, a favored hotel. EuroSuites Hotel and Residences is strategically located next to two major shopping centers, Dolphin Mall and Miami International Mall. Surrounded by numerous restaurants, this hotel is the obvious choice for your business trip or to spend a wonderful holiday with your family. EuroSuites has several amenities available during your stay, including European-style suites featuring a fully equipped kitchen to make you feel at home. EuroSuites has a fiber optic connection that gives you the best internet connection in town, super quick, reliable, and free. EuroSuites Hotel and Residences has spectacular facilities with an exercise room, a pool area with a Miami Beach style and unique bar called Zili. Need to rent a car? No problem. For your convenience, you can book a rental at a reduced pricing directly in their lobby. For more information, call 786-472-9095 or send them an email at info@eurosuites.com. That's EuroSSUITES.com and ask for Alex Ukia. Make sure to mention that Pete sent you and receive 20% off their regular rate.
Welcome back to the Pete De La Torre Business Program Power Hour, Sponsored by Community Newspapers, Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies, and Eurosuites Hotel and Residences.
Okay, my friends, welcome back to the Pete De La Torre Business Program. I want to tell you all that we are on every single Wednesday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Here on 880 a.m. The Biz. We want to hear from you. The phone number here, if you got a question for one of our guests or any comments, is 305-541-2350, 305-541-2350. You can follow me on Twitter at Pete Radio Show. I have a Facebook page, which is Pete Radio Show. And also connect with me on my LinkedIn. And my email, if you want to get a hold of me directly, is info@PeteRadioShow.com. And my site is PeteRadioShow.com. So tune in every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. here on 880 a.m. The Biz, the only all-business radio station in South Florida. And now is my pleasure, as we do now every week, we have a segment for one of our program partners, the Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies, and I'm excited to have and bring on my next guest, one of the fixtures of the organization, a past president back in 2005. He led the group. But let me give you a little background on Enrique Ruiz. He was born in Nicaragua. He graduated with a degree in economics from the University of British Columbia, Canada. He moved to Miami with his wife in 1995, and a year later, he opened up E&L Insurance Services, and he has been serving the South Florida community since then. Enrique has remained very active in the insurance industry by serving on the Agents Council of National Insurance Company and by obtaining his CPIA and PIAM designation. So we've got a decorated soldier here of the industry, and welcome to the show, Enrique.
Thank you, Pete. It's great to be here. I am proud to be representing the Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies, an organization that has been active in the community for over 40 years, as you know. Over 40
years. I think 42 years to be
42
exact.
years, and they've done a great job at sharing knowledge and information with the community so that they can better understand the complex subject of insurance.
And that it is. Very, very complex, to say the least. We're going to focus our conversation today on homeowners insurance policy. Now, that affects all of you that are listening that own a home. And it is a moving target, and there's always questions and challenges involved. And what we'll do is we'll have a little dialogue regarding that, and I know that Enrique will be able to answer some of the typical questions that are out there. But let me start, what causes of loss are covered under a homeowner's policy?
Well, that's an excellent question. To many of us, when we buy an insurance policy, it is something we do out of obligation. The bank is requiring it, and then it becomes this document that we file away and let it sit and gather dust for many years until that one fateful event, in which this little piece of paper comes to life, and it does a lot of good. But it's one of the things that we should do is understand what is it that it covers, right? Mm-hmm. And also it's important to know what are the causes of loss for which we are covered. So if we look at it on a basic level, we can say that fire, theft, vandalism, and water damage are the basic things that a homeowner's policy will cover you for. And in addition to that, you want to understand what caused the loss. And so if these are the things that cause the loss, then the policy will cover you for loss to your building, your contents, additional structures, loss of use, as well as personal liability.
Now, is the dwelling covered for the cost to rebuild it, or is it covered for the insured value?
I'm glad you bring this question up, because every day when I'm dealing with insureds at my office, they always want to know what is the least amount of dwelling coverage that they can have,
right,
to save money in their insurance. Unfortunately, the correct answer to your question is they should be the same. The amount of coverage should be equal to the cost of replacing the structure during a loss. And so
I think isn't that common sense that people would understand that? But I can understand they're looking to lower their premium cost.
That's correct.
What they have to pay out of pocket.
That's correct. And that because there is a lot of misconception, we're here to hopefully help clarify some of those issues. So the important thing is you got to work with your agent in making sure that the replacement cost estimator is a true reflection of the value of that structure.
Right.
So that the amount you're insuring your home for, it's equal to the replacement cost at the time of a loss.
Now, how do I determine the value for which my home or should be insured?
Well, you go through the process of inputting data about the home into a replacement cost estimator. These are systems provided by insurance companies. They take into consideration many variables, including the size of the home, square footage, the quality of finishing, the number of bathrooms, whether it has a swimming pool or not, things of that nature. And that should give us an indication of what it would cost to rebuild. And that should establish the dwelling amount for the coverage.
Now, is it true that the amount of insurance on my home or the home of anyone is determined by the amount of the mortgage?
No, and that's a big misconception. Over the years, people have come to us requesting insurance equal to the amount of the mortgage, and in some cases where the mortgage exceeded the value of the home, the banks were insisting on requiring additional coverage to equal the amount of the loan. Well, there is a statute in the state of Florida which prevents any lenders from demanding coverage in excess of the replacement value of the structure. So the only thing that determines the amount of insurance that one should have on the home is the cost of replacement.
I mean that again, that's why you get insurance, and it's all tied into risk management.
That's correct.
It's in the event of, and what is the event? And here we're talking homeowners insurance, and you've got your home, the structure, the contents. The furniture, the appliances, everything that goes with that. So that's really the way to look at it. And I think the case, the same thing with life insurance. When a lot of people take out life insurance, is okay, as long as I can pay off my mortgage. Okay, that's one component there. What about replacing you?
Exactly.
and the income that you bring and everything to the family there. So now, how do I determine how much insurance, again, that I should have on my personal property? Because I have a value. I think something's worth so much. I have this painting here. I think it's worth X amount of dollars and things like that. How do we determine that?
Well, that's, again, it should be a close consultation with your agent. You should look at what it would cost to replace all those items if there was ever a total loss and come up with a figure that most accurately reflects that number. Don't do it based on how much it's going to cost you on your policy. Do it based on the true value of those items. The last thing you want to have to do is go out there and buy all this with 10 cents on the dollar.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, is my personal property covered for its replacement cost or for its depreciated value?
Well,
because not everything appreciates. There's a lot of these things that with time depreciate.
Well, that's absolutely right, Pete. Most items are actually depreciating over the years. There is a term used in insurance which is called ACV. They call it ACV, or actual cash value.
Okay.
The definition of which is new minus depreciation. And so insurance companies give you the option to insure your personal property based on the actual cash value, which, remember, is new minus depreciation, or opt to have what they call replacement cost. Well, replacement cost will go and replace everything that you lost, regardless of whether it has been depreciated or not.
Okay.
And obviously, to have replacement cost option on your policy will increase the cost of the policy.
Correct.
So many people, rightly or wrongly, do select the ACV. We try to advise against it because at the end of the day, these are items that you purchase because you use them and you need them. You don't want to have to go out there and not be able to replace what you've just lost.
That's very, very true. Now, another big question I know that homeowners have is does the homeowner's policy cover in the event of a flood? Your home gets flooded.
Yes. Well, if you remember Katrina and Louisiana, there was all kinds of discussions as to whether the insurance company should pay for the losses, even though they were deemed to be floods. Well, it's quite clear. An insurance policy is a contract that it agrees to pay to the homeowner if certain losses occur and if the causes of those losses are specified on the policy. Well, flood is not one of them.
Right.
If you need to have flood insurance, which we think everybody should have it.
It'd be a separate policy.
It's a separate policy. This is a program run through the National Flood Insurance Program, and it's very inexpensive. Considering how much you could lose in the event of a flood, we highly recommend it.
And, there are flood areas here in South Florida. You can tell when we get a threat of a hurricane, they've got, the coast all the way down into the Keys and all that. But the stronger the storm comes in, the further west that goes. But, flooding can happen at any time. It doesn't have to be a big storm. It could be a rainstorm. Look at the rain we've had Monday and Tuesday of this week.
Absolutely
And pretty
right.
intense at times.
Absolutely right.
And some areas of town flood in a heartbeat.
That's correct. I may be misquoting a little bit the number, but there are figures out there which indicate that most of the flood claims occur in areas that have not previously been designated as a flood zone. And so when somebody tells you, I'm in an X zone, therefore I'm not in a flood zone, it's really a misunderstanding.
Right.
It's a flood zone. It's just not a high-risk flood zone.
Exactly. And 45 minutes of heavy rainfall can flood an area in no time. And we've seen that here in South Florida. Now, what can one do to reduce the cost of homeowners insurance?
Well, that's got to be the most popular question that we as agents here in South Florida get every single day. And of course, knowing that we have an inventory of homes that is over 40, over 50 years old, it's been challenging. But that's not to say that there aren't some things one can do. You can strengthen your home by purchasing shutters. You could buy either the accordion shutters or the storm panels that you can install when the storm is approaching. Those window or opening protections, as they're called, can help you save a substantial amount in your homeowner's insurance.
Right.
In addition to that, if there is certain way in which the roof is attached to the walls, they'll call it the roof-to-wall attachments, and many homes traditionally were attached through toenails. Well, nowadays the zoning requirements or the building codes require single wraps or ties. If there is a way that you can retrofit how that roof is attached to the walls, you can actually also obtain huge savings. We see wind mitigation savings adding up to almost 40% of the premium. So when you see policies ascending in premium to $5,000 and you're able to obtain a 40% premium, well, that's a huge discount. In addition to that, Pete, you can also look at your deductibles. And work with your agent on making sure that a slight increase in your deductibles might be able to save you enough money without increasing substantially the amount of risk that you're retaining at the time of the loss.
What I have to tell you, homeowners insurance, I shared the story, I think, when I spoke with Dulce back in August when we had the threat of Isaac. And I remember Hurricane Andrew. In fact, we were talking, I think it was like a couple days after the anniversary. In fact, it was or right before. But we obviously 20th anniversary of Andrew. And I was living in Kendall at the time. My house was just north of the I, so we didn't get a break for the 3-4 hours. It was constant. It was pretty bad. But way back when, 20 years ago, had an Allstate policy, and I was paying $400 a year.
Oh, my.
Okay? And, again, those were the good old days.
Yes.
And Andrew was a game changer. And I hate to think what would happen if we get something similar or close to an Andrew come through Miami-Dade County again.
We don't want
to think about that. And we've been very fortunate now. We're now getting into October. We're still in hurricane season, and we can't let our guards down. Okay, my friends, listen very carefully. But we have to get homeowners insurance, and the difference, I think now, if I'm not mistaken, is that that it's all that was part of my regular homeowners insurance. Everything was covered. This is different now, correct?
It is different.
It's a different game today.
There have been many adjustments to coverages. There have been new exclusions that have been introduced, and the policies have been tweaked and reformed to the point where the homeowner has to be very careful. Policies are no longer what one used to think of as a maintenance policy, where you could go to them for all kinds of minor problems in your home.
Right.
They should really be saved for catastrophic losses.
Absolutely, and it is a challenge. What you do is not easy. It's one of those things that you don't want to talk about. You don't want to have to pay for. But something. It's like you said, when you have that moment and you have that catastrophe in your home caused by whatever, Could be someone that comes in and burglarizes your home and destroys it.
Yes.
That's another example right there. You need to have coverage, plain and simple. And everyone's sensitive to budgets, and it's been a tough go about for many folks. But if you own a home, please have homeowners insurance.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the bottom line, right?
You worked very hard to achieve that dream of owning your home, and if it's the shelter for you and your family, you need to protect it. You don't want to lose it in a flash because you neglected your insurance.
Absolutely. My friend, for the benefit of the listeners, what is the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Well, they could reach us through the association, the Latin American Association, or they can reach me on my cell 305-322-2252, and we're always there to answer their questions. We've been here for 16 years, and if God willing, we'll be here for many more.
Terrific. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate you being on the show here today. And again, a big shout out to all my friends at the LAAIA, Tony Martley, Soraya, the whole group there. And thank you very much. And we're having a good time with all of this.
Thank you, Pete. Thanks for the opportunity to reach out to our community. Thank you.
Okay, my friend. We're going to go to a break, and then we will come back with more of the Pete De La Torre Business Programs Power Hour.
We'll be right back with the Pete De La Torre Business Program Power Hour. Sponsored by Community Newspapers, Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies, and EuroSuites Hotel and Residences.
Have you ever considered why so many Florida homeowners and business people look for an independent insurance agent for their insurance needs? We consumers appreciate real options with real choices that best fit our needs. We gravitate to those who understand our options and help make our decision a sound decision. So when we're making a decision that is really important to our family, our home, or business, people who value independence choose an independent agent from the Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies. The LAAIA is a 42-year-old nonprofit organization who strives for an insurance environment that is healthy for agents and fair for consumers by working on legislative, education, communication, and community support. They help the independent agent navigate the ever-changing waters of the insurance industry. For more information on the LAAIA, please call 305-477-1442. That's 305-477-1442. Or visit their website at www.laaia.com. In the heart of Miami, in the best location of the city, is EuroSuites Hotel and Residences, a favored hotel. EuroSuites Hotel and Residences is strategically located next to two major shopping centers, Dolphin Mall and Miami International Mall. Surrounded by numerous restaurants, this hotel is the obvious choice for your business trip or to spend a wonderful holiday with your family. EuroSuites has several amenities available during your stay, including European-style suites featuring a fully equipped kitchen to make you feel at home. EuroSuites has a fiber optic connection that gives you the best internet connection in town, super quick, reliable, and free. EuroSuites Hotel and Residences has spectacular facilities with an exercise room, a pool area with a Miami Beach style and unique bar called Zili. Need to rent a car? No problem. For your convenience, you can book a rental at a reduced pricing directly in their lobby. For more information, call 786-472-9095 or send them an email at info@eurosuites.com. That's EuroSSUITES.com and ask for Alex Ukia. Make sure to mention that Pete sent you and receive 20% off their regular rate.
Welcome back to the Pete De La Torre Business Program Power Hour. Sponsored by community newspapers, Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies, and EuroSuites Hotel and Residences.
Welcome back, my friends, to the last part of the Pete Del Torre Business Program's Power Hour for an October 3rd, 2012. And thanks again to Enrique Ruiz from E&L Insurance and representing the Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies, one of the partners of the radio show. And now we're going to do a little shift over and talk about an event that is happening this Saturday, October 6th, and that's, of course, the annual Miami-Dade Heart Walk, which will be happening over at Florida International University. And again, the address there is 11200 Southwest 8th Street. It's a 5K walk and run, and it starts at 9 a.m. in the morning. And I have a close tie to the Heart Association. I participated years ago for many of the heart walks and when I worked for a different organization. And it is a phenomenal group with a phenomenal event. And this is the number one killer in the United States. And what a great organization and great event. And we have now someone that's going to join us to talk about the walk. We were going to have Willie Hernandez, but he got caught up in a meeting, and those things happen. Of course, we're trying to do business. But we are honored by having the walk director, Chris Gentling, who is joining us online. How are you doing there, Chris?
I'm great, Pete. How are you doing?
Well, you came in at the last minute, so I appreciate it very much, my friend.
Hey, listen, I appreciate you having us on and talk about this great event. So we're honored to be part of your show, and thank you very much.
No, it's my pleasure. Now, tell us a little bit about the event and briefly about the American Heart Association, especially here in South Florida.
Absolutely. So the event, as you mentioned, is Saturday, October 6th at FIU. The walk starts at 9 o'clock, but festivities will be getting going at 8 o'clock in the morning. And it's a great family fun event. It's a free event. Anybody is welcome to join, whether they raise funds, register or not. They come enjoy the event. We'll have free food, bagels and bananas and breakfast items, Subway sandwiches for after the walk participants. There's fun zone, kids zone for jump house kids to participate and have fun. So we're looking forward to getting a lot of participation for people to come out and join us and raise awareness about the Heart Association. American Heart Association has been around for a long time, as you are aware of, and one of our key drivers is to raise awareness about heart disease. Heart disease is number one killer of all Americans, and stroke is the number 4 killer of all Americans. And so we have a tough challenge ahead of us, but we know that if we raise awareness throughout the community and put on these wonderful events like the Heart Walk, we'll be able to continue to fight the challenge of heart disease. The encouraging thing to me, and one of the reasons I joined the Heart Association, is 80% of heart disease is preventable. So that's a big number, and my job as a Heart Walk director is to spread the news to others in the community and corporations to not only raise funds, but raise awareness, educate the public, children, and people of all ages, that we can, continue to see these numbers.
We're losing you a little bit there, Chris. I don't know if it's a connection here.
Let me try that again. Is that better?
Oh, it's a little bit better. Yeah, great.
Yeah, so our main objectives with the Heart Walk is to raise awareness throughout the community of Miami by just educating the public, bringing them out to events like the Heart Walk, where last year we had almost 10,000 people, and this year we're expecting about the same thing. Bringing in folks from the community, children and adults and people of all ages, to raise awareness about heart disease. And heart disease, as I mentioned a minute ago, if you guys didn't hear me, is 80% preventable. So we really want to not only raise funds, because those funds are important and goes back to critical research, but also put in research and education and public programs that we can raise awareness among others, so that we can continue to reduce deaths and diseases from heart disease and stroke, and hopefully, not let it be the number one killer of all Americans.
Now, give us an example of a tip to prevent, this from happening to any of us. What can we do today, for instance, to hopefully try to prevent this?
Very simple. We're about introducing simple activities that people can do. One of them is being active. Out and go walk for, if it's 15 minutes or 20 minutes a day, try to do something every day. Whether you park farther away at work, whether you take the stairs instead of taking the elevator, whether you take a walk on your lunch break, get out and be active. And that's kind of tied perfectly into the Heart Walk. It's encouraging those to be active and do things in your life, and to introduce the activity to your children and to your parents and your grandparents, so that again, everybody can learn to be active, because that's a big way to help reduce the heart disease.
Well, I don't want to even get into the topic of obesity, which is predominant in this country, but needless to say, if you have that issue, you're going to be more susceptible to a stroke or heart disease. I mean,
absolutely, and it's funny you say that. We just I just read a stat that by the year 2030, 59% of the population is targeted to be obese. And so that's a big number, and that number is continuing to rise. And I know our children and the issue with public schools and elementary schools reducing PE and physical education, it's a huge, huge number. So we're trying to combat that, and getting out and walking is one of those key ways that you can do that.
And anybody can walk, and we're not talking about walking fast, but and I've heard before, rule of thumb, walk 30 minutes a day, three to four times a week, and that's all it takes. It's just and it's just walking and moving your body and not letting it just sit there. And unfortunately, we get caught up and we're tired and we want to do this, but it's just so important to do that. And once you get into the habit of doing it, it's a great habit, and you cannot not do it.
Right. And the great thing about walking is that, like you said, anybody can do it anywhere, anytime, any place. It doesn't cost money to do it. You don't need to be part of a gym. You don't need to have expensive, things here. You can get outside and walk. And whether it's walking around your neighborhood or walking down the street, just get outside and walk. And even during lunch, if you're on your lunch break, go walk around for a little bit or take the stairs, and getting that heart rate up and getting that, the sweat pumping, the blood rising, and is what will help you. So
absolutely. Now, we got about a minute or two left, but is it too late to do more fundraising and start a walk team?
Absolutely not. That's the great thing about this, is that anybody can register anytime at www.miamidadeheartwalk.org. You go on there and register if not already, and create your own team or join another team, and begin fundraising by sending emails to friends and family, asking them to help raise awareness and raise funds for the American Heart Association. And so never too late, and we look forward to seeing everybody out on Saturday so we can continue to spread the word and have a lot of people joining us in the fight.
Now, where exactly? I just had Irma Becerra Fernandez, who's the interim vice president for engagement at FIU, talk about the university. But specifically, where on the grounds does everybody congregate?
The great thing about that is right in front of the Ryder Business Building, in the front entrance. When you go in, there's a Ryder business building. People will just make their way straight there. They'll park, and we'll have all of our tents and our stage and our fun zones parked right there. So as they pull into the main entrance at FIU, you'll run right into it.
Main entrance off of Southwest A Street, correct?
That's correct.
So it's 11200 Southwest A Street. Get there early. The activities start a little bit before. The actual run walk starts at 9, and I've been to many of them through the years. And I got to tell you, it's a fun time, but you're doing it for a great cause. And I can't congratulate you and the whole team enough, Chris. So thank you so much for being on the show and for what you're doing with the Heart Walk and the American Heart Association. Thanks
for your time and support, Pete, and we look forward to seeing you there on Saturday.
All right, thanks so much, man.
Take care.
Now, the phone number to call, my friends, if you want more information, is 305-631-4791. 305-631-4791. Well, that is basically it for today, my friends. I cannot thank all of my guests, all of you also that have been listening today, that have been part of the show, which, as I mentioned at the beginning of the 10 o'clock hour, we're starting the second year of this radio program. And again, I am honored, humbled, and very, very grateful to all my guests, all of my partners who are part of the show, who have been part of the show. And it's only going to get better. We have a lot of exciting plans coming up. We have some great guests coming up the next handful of weeks. I urge you to tune in and listen to all the good news about business, about community here on this program. So, again, we're on every Wednesday morning here at 10 a.m. on 880 a.m. The Biz. Thank you so much for joining us. And, my friends, have a great one. Make it a profitable week. God bless.
Thank you for listening to the Pete De La Torre Business Program Power Hour. Tune in again next Wednesday at 10 a.m. for more of the Pete De La Torre Business Program. The Pete De La Torre Business Program is sponsored by Community Newspapers, Latin American Association of Insurance Agencies, and Euro Suites Hotel and Residences.